Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Cook, and I'm here with you today to help you think about where your 168 is. And this is a conversation about managing your calendar. And the 168, of course, you can see on my screen right here, comes from the fact that there are 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week, which means all of us get 168 hours. Every single person. This is what we get. There's some reasons why, as a college student, you'll want to pay attention to your calendar. And the first reason is this. Think about what your prior experience has been with calendar management. Usually, if our teachers and parents and coaches and band directors aren't telling us what to do with our time, then we've got family members, spouses, children, churches, meetings, clubs, organizations that tell us what to do with our time. Very rarely do we actually map out for ourselves what will happen with our time. And as a college student, you really, no matter how old you are, need to know where your time is going so that you can set priorities and budget what you do with that time. This is the only way to avoid last-second emergencies and same-day disasters. It's what happens if we only plan for one day, we'll only ever know one day. But what happens if the paper is due in 3 days? You're going to be surprised by it at the last second. The same can be said if you try to only map out a week or only map out a month. In college, the best strategy is to map out a full semester to see what is happening at every step of the way. So this is the first reason why we want to have good calendar time management, not just to know what we've got to do, but to see it. Now, one other reason we need is to see quickly where we have alternatives in our calendar so that when an emergency arises, we can accommodate, we can make changes. Notice I said when emergencies arise. It's not an if. College students, like everybody else in the world, have a lot of things going on. Just because you're in college doesn't mean the car isn't going to break down, or it doesn't mean you don't have to go grocery shopping, or the laundry doesn't have to get done, or kids don't need to be picked up from places. There are a lot of competing life events. People get sick. So we need to know what we have available, and a well-developed calendar allows us to see that. You know, the other reason to keep a calendar is to avoid missing deadlines or sudden opportunities that arise. But you could think about this conversely. Instead of avoiding missing, think about the opportunities that come. This gives you a chance to meet deadlines and to plan for new opportunities. So if they say, oh, there's a guest lecture coming next Saturday night, everybody should attend for extra credit, you're not wondering if you're going to be able to. You'll be able to look at your calendar and say, I'm going to put this in there and plan for this event to happen. So it gives you power. It gives you control. And we all know college is stressful enough. So every little bit of control you can take over what happens and when is worth it. Now, when we talk about the kind of calendar that you would want to have, of course, everybody has their preferences. Some folks like to have a desk calendar that sits on their desk and they look at it every morning. And some people like to have a notebook or a calendar that they can write things in pencil, or you know, if they're really sure nothing's ever going to change, put it in pen, but my advice is pencil. You know, I used a book calendar from 1993 till 2008. And then after that, I used my phone, and I became very good at putting all of my calendar information into my phone. So what I want to do today is go into real depth on how to map out your calendar. This is more than what I now do, but if you're starting out, this is a very good way to keep track of everything. This strategy, by the way, was developed by a friend of mine, a former student, who was a mother of three, married with a full-time job, who was in the National Guard, and who was also a nursing student. And she made everything work because she kept track of every minute of her day. So I'm carrying her strategy forward. Now we have 168 hours, 24 hours, 7 days. And most people will put in their classes, jobs, and meetings. But that's really only the beginning of what needs to go in there. I'm going to walk you through what a day might look like. And then we're going to go to a calendar and I'm going to show you how to put these things in. So here we have sleep. This is the thing nobody can get away from. So we need to know how many hours a week you sleep. Well, we can say roughly you should sleep 8 hours. Most people get less. We'll say 7. 7 hours per day. Times 7 days a week equals 49 hours. So now we subtract 168 minus 49. We're down to 119 hours. Now, the next thing you say is you've got classes. Okay, I've got 4 classes, so I'm in class for 4 classes at 3 hours each. Equals 12 hours. All right, so we take that 119 minus 12, we're down to 107. Now, maybe you're working a job, right? And you have a part-time job and it's 20 hours a week. Okay, let's subtract that from the 107. Right? We should be now at 87. You see how your week is disappearing? Most people don't realize exactly what goes into every step of their day. Now let's look at this next one, study time. And there's a formula for thinking about study time. If you're really engaged in the subject and it's really coming easy to you, then you can put 2 hours out of class for each hour in class. If you're not as engaged or the material isn't coming as easily to you, then you probably want to study 3 hours out of class for each hour in class. Now, what does study time look like? This could be reading materials, whether at home or in the library. This could be reviewing with friends. This could be going to a writing consultation or a peer learning consultation in math or anatomy and physiology or whatever subject in LaChance Library or in one of our other facilities where we work with students to help them learn more strategies for learning content. I would say tutoring, which is what it is, but oftentimes when people think of tutoring, they think of not being good at something, but that's not really what it's about. What we do is we consult, we help you discover more about how to learn so that you can help yourself learn more. So coming back to our example here, I took a sample where somebody had 4 classes, 2 of which they were engaged in and 2 of which they found difficult. Using our strategy here, they're in class 12 hours a week and they need to study. For each hour in class, they need 2 or 3 out of class. You can see the math here in the grid. It came out to 30 hours a week studying. So let's do that. 87 minus 30 equals 57. Now, I know what you're saying. Right now, you're laughing and you're saying, between my family and my other obligations and everything else that's happening in my life, there is no way to put 30 hours a week into my schedule. You're right. But this is an aspirational goal. This is a thing you're going to strive to achieve. Doesn't mean you're always going to get it. Doesn't mean you're going to get it every week. But if you can get it, it is a useful thing to have. Maybe some weeks you hit it, other weeks you don't. But there are other things to put in here. People got to have meals. Maybe you spend 15 minutes on breakfast each day and an hour on lunch or a half hour on lunch. You spend an hour on dinner. So maybe that's an hour and 45. Maybe call it 2 hours a day that you spend on meals. So 2 hours a day. Times 7 days. So that's 14 hours. And we're down to 43. That's what you've got left. You still have not commuted. In my case, I commute from a fairly far distance away. We're going to assume you don't. We're going to assume that it takes maybe a half hour for you to get to and from. So maybe that's 1 hour a day commuting. And maybe you're only doing it times 5 days, right? So we can subtract 5. So now we have 43 minus 5 equals 38. Now, we still have not put in family or friend time for when you want to spend an evening with your kids or with friends or playing video games. We have not put in any kind of time for you if you're a person who practices a faith, whether that's a Wednesday, Saturday, or a Sunday, or every day, 3 times a day. You have to account for that. And we didn't put in any kind of decompression time, where it is just you having time alone. We also, if you'll notice, didn't put any time in there for you to take a shower or to get ready for your day or to even get ready for bed. So all of these things should be accounted for. You'll notice here that once you start to see how everything breaks down, it is undeniable. We take from our study time to give to everything else. That is the way everybody functions. But most people don't see it. Using this strategy, you now can see it. And so you can plan ways to incorporate things or to mix things together. For example, some of your study hours could be spent having homework time with friends or with your kids or with your spouse, where you work together and turn that into not just homework time, but maybe family time. Maybe there's a family reading hour or time that you're spent reading where everybody else is doing some reading or homework. This invites you to get creative about how you engage your family and the people around you as you do your work. So I am not telling you that this is the only way. I am not telling you that this is going to be the best way for everyone. But I am saying to you that this is a very good way to see exactly what you're doing with your time. And the more you're aware of it, and the more you plan for it, the more easily you'll be able to make good use of your time for as long as you choose. So this is the first part. Let's look at a calendar together. Now I'm using a Google Calendar, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to take everything out of here, and I'm going to start adding in events. Now you see here how it's set for month. I'm not a great fan of the full month. I like to look at 1 week at a time because that shows me what to look at. And in not just a 1-day term, but it gives me a week. It lets me plan for a reasonable chunk of time for me. Some people like to have the whole month visible. That's fine. In something like Google Calendar or Microsoft Calendar, you have this drop-down feature here, and you can just change it to what you need. Here's the day. I'm gonna go with the week, and then I'll change it around so you can see things. Now, as I said before, some people like to have a desk calendar. I like to have a calendar that I can look at multiple times a day. Can't do that if my desk calendar is sitting at home on my desk, and it's even more awkward if your desk calendar is under your arm all day while you're going to and from class. So I always have my calendar in my phone and on my iPad and on my computer. Now, I also know that we're going to start by putting in my sleep time. I'm usually asleep by 10 o'clock. So I'm going to go 10 p.m. and I'm going to go to 6 a.m. And you see here, there's an option to do it all day. Well, it's not all day. And you see it does not repeat, but you can make it a daily event. So if I wanted to attach a Google Meet to it, there's also, if you upload Zoom, you can attach a Zoom meeting to it. And you can always click on more options, and that'll show you the details. Add your location, home, right? Notification, it'll let me know 30 minutes before I need to go to bed. So if I want to put an alarm in, I can do that. And you can also, for events like meetings and such, you can have people be able to change or add as necessary. You also see down here an option to add in a description so that you can put in the details of any given day or event into the spot. So sleep, that's what this one's called. So save it. And you see now that I'm scheduled to be asleep from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Easy peasy. Now I have classes. I have one class that goes from 8 to 9:15. Let's call this English, right? Maybe it's English 101. So I'm going to go to more options. And I'm going to put the class number. Maybe it's in W04, right? I'm going to put in there, if there's a Zoom meeting for the class, I'm going to put that Zoom meeting in here. I'm going to go ahead and repeat it because it does repeat. And I'm going to do it custom so that I can say it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class that goes from 8 to 9 a.m. And it's going to go on until May 4th. All right. You can also set it to end after occurrences. I click on done, 8 to 9 a.m., click on save, and you see here's my English class. At the level of the month, you can see my schedule starting to flesh out. So let's go back to our week view and let's add our other classes. Right? We might say class on a Tuesday, Thursday, maybe that goes for an hour and a half. And maybe that's bio, right? And then we open our more options because we always want to be able to set the repeat. And when does it repeat? It's custom. Maybe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's going to go until May 5th. So we're going to save that, done. Location, maybe it's in Science Wing 205. I don't know where Science 205 is, but I'm surprised. Hit save, there's my bio class. Maybe my other two classes are here. Maybe I've got a 10 to 11. This is Psych, PSY, more options, 10 to 11, add location. Maybe it's in the academic building on the 3rd floor somewhere, 3 something something. If I don't know it, I'd better go find out. If I have a Zoom link to add, I can put it in there. And again, go to the repeat, custom, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, all the way to May 5th, and done. Oh, I clicked on never. Let's see custom here again. Ends on May 5th. Done. Save. There's our class. Maybe we've got one more class, and we say that it's right here. After the bio class, we'll do 10:15. Now we'll just put it right here, 11 to 12. And maybe this is math, right? And again, we do more options, add a location, add guests if we need. Math is going to be in the academic wing, maybe on the 2nd floor somewhere. Now 11 to 12, do not repeat. It's going to be a custom. It's going to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's going to go on till May 5th again. Done and save. And now you can see at the level of the week and at the level of the month, you see my schedule. That's the start. You also see where it ends right there because we'd be putting in final exams in this week. Let's go back to today and let's change it to the weekly view. And we've got our classes in. Ooh, move ahead here a minute. Remember to always start on the day you mean to begin for the term. Now, maybe I have a part-time job, and maybe that job has me working 3 days a week. So I work on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So maybe I'm out and I work from 2, right? And I can just pull this down to wherever it goes to. It'll make it 2 to 8. You see, I'm just using the arrow feature and we'll just call it work. More options, add location. You know, maybe I work at the library. And when does it occur? Custom, it's Monday and Wednesday at that time. And then I've got a shift on Saturday. So done. And then we save that. Now, what if my Saturday shift is earlier? Really easy, right? I've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 17, 18. So maybe I work 2 extra hours on Saturday and I open at 9 a.m. I just drag this one. And we just say for this event, okay. And then I drag that up to this event. Now I'll have to go through and change it each week to be where I need it to do, or where I need it to begin. All right, because if you try and change all events, it'll change your Monday and Wednesday as well. But you see how this isn't really hard to do? And you can change these like this, or if you need to, one thing you could do, you could open up the event and you can say, change this event. So let's just change this one from to 8 or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, watch when I go to save. Do I want to save for this event, this and following, or for all events? Remember, Mondays and Wednesdays are at different times, so we only want to save for this event. Now watch what happens. See, it moved it automatically. So you see how the schedule is fleshing out. Now, suppose I like to do color coding and I want to be able to see different things. Maybe I want my work to be a different color. I can go in, click on a pencil to edit. And you see the colors right next to my name. That's the calendar that it's in. Maybe I want work to be red. Work at Target, this and following, make it all events will be red. And there they are. All of my shifts are in red. Now, notice we still have a lot of time to put in here. I know I can get lunch in here. And I know that I'm going to take 30 minutes. I'm just going to go over to the cafeteria to grab something quick. It only takes that long. Go to more options, repeats daily, because I know I want to get lunch every day, or custom. Oh, there's a to click on Monday through Friday, but you can do weekdays, Monday through Friday. And we'll put in the cafe, and we'll click on save. Now look what's happened. So now we have it every day set for lunch. You see how, now think about that 30 hours of study time that you weren't sure you could get. Oh, I don't have any time to get to study. Well, from 6 to 8 a.m., you are getting ready, getting breakfast, and getting to work. Maybe it takes a half hour. Maybe you're here and you arrive at 7 a.m. So if this is get ready and travel, maybe you call it get up, breakfast, travel. And maybe it happens 5 days a week. Every weekday. So what do you do with this hour from 7 to 8 a.m.? You know what I used to do? Gab with my friends, get nothing done. But I could, at 7 a.m., pop in a study hour. And we'll even change the color. Green means go, let's make it green. And we'll make it repeat every Monday through Friday. There it is. Now, you were looking for 30 hours. Now you only need to get 25. You see how this works? And on these 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we could take it right to here, this event. And so now you got 7 hours in. You haven't done anything different. It's just the way you use your time. Not just that you show up and then just hang out. It's that you show up and then you put the work in, right? So if we just look at the first part of the day, you got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you could get 13 of those 30 hours if you just focused on Monday through Friday before 12:30. And look, we haven't touched Sunday at all. We haven't touched the evenings, right? You come back from work at 8 p.m. and you don't want to do anything. So don't put in here TV, right? You're going to binge watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So what are your options? Maybe this is TV/family. And that's going to be, you want that to be something good. Let's make it orange. And does it repeat? Yeah, we'll do it on Mondays and Wednesdays, or when you come home from work. Mondays and Wednesdays. And that's going to go for as long as you're in the class. Let's just say 5th. Right? Done. And let's say that. And there it is. Maybe you say, yep. And then you say, here, get ready for bedtime. Bed/, maybe you want to do a little light reading. Right? So then you put that in, and maybe that's an everyday thing. Right? So we'll add that every day, and we'll do custom Monday through Friday because we don't know what the weekend looks like, right? And we'll do this maybe some kind of darker purple because it's real relaxing. You see how your calendar is starting to fill up, but you can see all kinds of time still available to get all kinds of other things in. Maybe you're going to do family reading night on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This becomes study time for you, but it also becomes time spent with your family, talking about their schoolwork or what happened during their day. So you could put that in there. You can set aside your Friday as definitely Friday at 4 p.m., no work. Be very intentional about it. Family time. You can say Saturdays, okay, we have this bowling contest came up. We were going to the bowling alley. Okay, well, I'm supposed to study on Fridays from 5 to 10. But if I'm going to go bowling here, then I'm going to move that 5 to 10 onto Sunday or onto Tuesday just for that week so that I can still do what I want to do with my family or friends and then have that block of time moved. Maybe you keep Sundays empty so that you can move whatever needs to be there. Now, look, say, for example, you wake up on Thursday morning and one of your kids is sick, and now you've got to worry about getting a babysitter. Well, now you know that Get Up Breakfast Travel is moving to later in the day. And you're going to start making your calls and making your connections, right? But maybe what happens is you're not even able to get in. You can still study at home. You can still contact your professor. You can still, if there's a Zoom option, Zoom into the class. You can still follow your schedule, even if you have to stay home. Because even if you're not present, if you're constantly looking over the material in a routine and scheduled way, you stand a better chance of learning and retaining the material and succeeding in the class. So I hope this has given you a good idea of how to go about building your calendar and planning what goes into your calendar. The more you do this and the more you follow this, the more likely you are to be successful. And that is, of course, the goal, to help you find ways to succeed. If you have any questions about this, you can always email the Academic Support Center at asc@mwcc.mass.edu. Or come in and visit us. We're in the Chance Library on Gardner campus. We're in room 123 at Leominster campus. Good luck and have a great semester.